Welcome to Life Workshop, where we discuss the forgotten basics. Here we go, Mo and Bo, your most favorite host and co-host ever. If you didn't know it, now you know. So, today's episode is on, would you trim my back? I'm a bit hairy. A little bit.
Okay.
And then I have an 8-pack that unfortunately the hair covers it.
Oh,
So when I trim it, it shows better.
okay.
The problem is when I trim, I can trim my chest, but I cannot trim my back.
Mm-hmm.
And in the past, actually, I didn't know. And I did that once in a race and it was hot. And then I took my shirt off and I'm running. Then a friend mentioned, hey, Mo, if you trim your chest, at least trim your back too. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, you got to keep it homogeneous. Yeah.
Now, but I cannot trim my own back.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, Bo, if I would come to you, I said that, hey, buddy, would you trim my back? What's the answer?
My gut answer is no. No.
And why is that?
Because no. There's some, I don't know why. Just doing that to, this is cultural again.
Yes.
Doing this to another man in my culture, it's weird. But I was, and when you first approached me with this, that was I told you, no.
Yes.
I mean, you didn't really ask me to do it, but you were saying this is a thing you were going to ask. And I had to think about it, and I thought about it for a while. And I talked to my girlfriend about it because it bothered me. I was like, why do I say no right away? I'm like, no. And and it's because, like, I consider that's girlfriend territory. Your girlfriend can shave your back for you and do.
Let's see if I
weird
don't
things like
have a
that.
girlfriend, then what shall I do?
There is a whole industry based around that.
Okay. 1-800
Yes.
trim my back.
Is having an esthetician.
Okay.
They do that. They wax your back or whatever, or do a sugar thing, or, that's whatever. And by me doing that for you, I'm taking away someone's job. So I'm stealing the shirt off someone's back.
So that is how you justify your bad behavior.
Yes.
Okay, good.
And then I was thinking about it. Well, say if a friend came to me and said, hey, I have this surgery. I need to have this, my back needs to get shaved for whatever. I'd be like, yeah, I wouldn't have a problem with that.
So you should be a bit more serious.
I wouldn't even second guess it. I'd be like, yeah, of course I will. Let's go. But if it's like, hey, my front has to match my back. Can you shave at my back? I'm like, no.
So
No.
maybe I should come back and say that I need to have a surgery.
Yeah.
Okay, then that would work.
Yeah. And I don't know why I feel that way. It just is.
You know what? This is interesting. As the audience, you might have noticed I have an accent.
Mm-hmm.
So in Iran, we did not have as much definition for the difference between men and women. For example, pink is a woman's color and is not a guy color.
I think that's changing now.
Okay, we did not have those things. When I came to the West, I realized there are so many definitions that divides that how a man should behave versus a woman. And if you cross that, then it's not cool, buddy. And now we have to learn it, that it's okay if you do that. You are learning it again. But as I said, we didn't have such a thing. The concept that you said that by default you just said no, you wouldn't you trim my back. A lot of it, yes, I understand. It's the culture in here that more frequently is not as manly, which I not understand. So if it is not manly, then it's not good. So what is the opposite of a manly? Because I have heard this.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So
That whole definition of what it is to be a man is ridiculous.
correct. And we are coming to this realization, which is good, because manly is really rough and tough, and your voice should be like this. Hey, it looks pretty cool actually. Maybe I should do that.
But that's
I would be more scary.
yeah. That's Like we were talking, remember we were talking in your very first introduction and you said, don't make things Hollywood.
Uh-huh.
That's what I've always thought that is. That's a Hollywood thing. That's like a front or whatever. But when you actually get to know someone, a man or whatever, they're not that way. That's a surface level thing.
It's a persona that sometimes, and we think that persona is a good persona, to be rough and tough. As a matter of fact, now I'm taking it a bit extra, but even the concept of somebody like today is March of 2022, where Putin, because if some people, they listen to this in years from now, Putin has attacked Ukraine. Mm-hmm. But if somebody's like Putin has become president of that country and has been able to stay there, is because in the Russian culture, being rough and tough is more encouraged. And he gave them that persona.
Okay.
That is something that he has hang on to. So a lot of time, these behaviors that we have, even right now, I have talked to some people, believe it or not, people that are more into that roughly and manly and tough and rough, they have a little bit of a, actually, desire towards Putin. Believe it or not. They don't want to say it publicly, but you see there is a bit of a desire there. And the reason is because he presents like being rough, and he takes his shirt off, he catches the lion, he has gun and this thing. So when he does that, when we understand it that way, it's a recipe for disaster. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
and I went a bit too far with this, but it is in that line.
That's fine, but you can do all of those things. Like you can have the guns and you can go out hunting.
As long as you don't
do all of those things. But you don't have to be like that guy.
That is,
you know what I mean?
No,
like,
if somebody has the interest,
and I'm not that way.
Yeah.
But sometimes you are. Like there's a time and a place for everything.
If he's interested in certain thing, is okay, as long as it's genuine. Not that you're trying to create a persona, to that and that persona to you looks good. If somebody is interested in guns, or for example, I don't know, myself, for example, I did martial arts.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just don't go and give that persona that I'm so rough and tough. Although I am. Have you noticed this from my voice?
Yes. But most of the time, though, those say, well, we're going to talk about them as men like that. You don't really want to be around those guys as much or as often, I've found. The people who have that persona or are making that persona for themselves, you tend not to really hang out with them very much.
The fact that again, it's more of an education. A lot of time, they think that they are doing a good thing and they have a good persona. So it's almost, I wouldn't necessarily write them off, but it's okay. I would just accept them for who they are, and hopefully they get kind of educated. You know what? You don't have to do that. You can be a cool guy, you show your vulnerability. We all have flaws. And it's cool. Actually, when you do that, it shows that how comfortable you are with yourself. Mm-hmm. This is where I'm going. It's okay. Even, for example, I have asked some friends that, would you trim my back? And then they said, is gayish. I said, so is that a good thing or a bad thing? But
well, I don't think there's anything homosexual about it.
This is the thing. I don't know, but I have, and I'm gonna
don't use the word gay. It's offensive.
Anyways, I don't know. It's just
because it doesn't mean homosexual anymore.
Okay. I don't know about the now the terminologies. Obviously, they keep changing. But one thing that I can say is this. We give words or some of the stuff we did a connotation of good or bad, which they don't have. For example, the connotation of being rough and tough is good and more manly, and I don't know if it's not as manly, then it's bad. And what is not manly is womanly, or what is it? I'm not sure what it is. What I'm going to get back to the main. I will talk about this at in another episode. That sometimes with connotation that we give a bad connotation to a good thing or a good connotation to a bad thing. Very frequently it happens. Yep. And then we try to fit in and we talk about, we do the wrong thing because of that. But when it comes to this aspect of it, I should say this though. In the Western culture in general, and I'm generalizing it in here, I'm aware of it. And in countries, maybe I should just change my word. Sorry for that. In societies that are richer, generally, people that they can be more independent. And when they can become more independent, the codependence become less. When the codependence become less, the sense of community becomes less. So for example, when they are richer and they have more money, if something goes wrong, they are living together. If something goes wrong, they said, you know what, screw that. I'm going to get my own place. And they can. Instead of sharing a ride, they will go buy their own vehicle. They don't ask for help. They go find a professional in the field or non-professional and pay for the service.
Right.
For my haircut, I don't necessarily go to my friend who is not a professional a hairdresser to ask, hey, can you cut my hair? But when it comes to my back, you don't need to be a professional. You just push the damn button and just trim it. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And I feel very comfortable to go and ask. And this is interesting. I have asked the same question from variety of people. Variety, of course, I mean.
What did they say?
And this is a very interesting one. More frequently, I have seen it in Canada, in the Western culture, but again, maybe correct the words, in the richer countries, which in here it has been Canada, the Canadian that they are coming from a richer, background, often they say, no, go, find somebody to do it. And the ones that they are coming from a lower income, very much Canadian, they have been okay with it. When I have asked East European or the people of the other parts of the world, which normally, or they are not as rich, or they are just more community oriented, often they are doing it. Even I asked, for example, one of my clients that I said, if a friend of yours would come and ask you, would you do it? She said, yeah. And then she was surprised that why, when I'm asking, why it should be a question. Who would do it otherwise? So it was such a natural thing that, yes, I'm supposed to do that for a friend. But in the Western culture, what we do, we say, no, go get somebody. So if for that I go get somebody, what is the next thing that I should go? For example, we have had this conversation before. For my house, to blow out the lines, I need a air compressor. I can go buy one, but they refuse to do that. And they do it intentionally. Because that air compressor, it's used just once a year.
Yeah.
That it's a waste of money, it's a waste of material.
But think of all the things you could do if you had an air compressor.
But I'm not doing with them.
Yeah, but
that is justifying
you don't
it.
have an air compressor. But if you have one, all of a sudden you have all these doors are open to you.
I know, it's like people that they have lots of stuff that they never ever use. That is called buying irrationally, justifying it rationally. Or buying emotionally and then justifying it rationally. No, this is the thing. And this is why we end up with lots of stuff that we don't need. And especially in this world that we are coming to know more and more, that there is a concept of climate change. There is a concept of waste. Why do we do that? It doesn't serve me anything. And not only it doesn't serve me, as a matter of fact, it deserves me. It ruins something for me, because this could be an opportunity. For the past 2 years in here in this new house that I have, I have been asking friends, and it has connected me. Once it was yourself, the year before it was another buddy of mine, that it connects us, that he comes and helps me. And remember, they say, if you don't feel good, go help somebody.
Right.
And now I'm giving you that opportunity, and you
forcing me to feel good.
You should thank me for it. But in all seriousness, this is the thing. You come and, you do this for me. And when the time comes that I can do something for you, I do it. And it's not a matter of tit for tat. For example, I have, in the previous thing that you talked about friendship, I have a buddy of mine that I know for a long time. Obviously, we have developed a history. To be honest, I don't know who has done more for who. We are not even thinking about that anymore. It's just, we do it. That's it. There is we don't count. You can do something, you do it, period.
Yeah.
So, and this brings the friendship, makes the friendship more, deepens that. It makes you feel better. Everybody benefits from this. And that's it. If it was a professional thing, I would ask a professional. But it's trimming my freaking back.
Yeah.
You don't have to give it a style. Just trim the damn thing. That's a very easy thing. But we justify it with something like this. Oh, you can create business for somebody else. Well, there is good in any bad. There is bad in any good. You just managed to find the bad or in very good.
Well, I was joking, but, but then what? So it's just my culture then, and it's no offense to you. It's not you or anything, but why does it still make me feel icky? Why do I not want to do it?
You know, remember, change, we have discussed briefly about this. Change happens in steps.
Mm-hmm.
Change happens first, you accept it logically, that it makes sense, but emotionally you're not there. Second thing, you talk about it, you promote it, but you may not even be able to do it yourself. So become a teacher, not doer. The third thing, you force yourself into doing it, but yet you're not feeling, you have to think about it before you do it. And after you have done it for some time, then it becomes you. And for myself, as a matter of fact, this is the interesting part. Since I have come to Canada, I have been here for 25 years now in Canada. And myself, actually, I have fallen into this trap that I do not ask for help as much. Mm-hmm. And as a matter of fact, as I was preparing for this podcast, I realized, we are going away next weekend. And, I wanted to catch a ride with some of the friends. It's just like 5 of us, five families, I should say, or 5 couples. Mm-hmm. And then if it was in a normal case scenario, myself, I have fallen into this trap that I don't ask for help. And that's a very, very wrong thing. And then I realized I'm talking about that, but I'm not doing it. So what I did, I asked one of the friends, can I catch a ride with you there? And she was more than happy. She said, yeah. And then I got the other one to ride me, give me a ride back. And actually it's one of the best things that we are not wasting. We are saving on the money part of it. Of course, you can say that if you had burned some more gas, if you had wrecked your car, you could have created some business for somebody else. you could justify it that way.
I guess you could do that.
But it is not a productive job, by the way. So at the end of the day, again, this is the thing. And lots of time we limit ourselves. Remember that. We are the one who limit ourselves. And I personally did it. But if I had gone simply asked, and to be honest, for myself, it was a bit harder. I was thinking, how can I propose this, question? I asked that thing. But now you can simply just ask. And as a map, now it's a kind of something that it's related more to what the previous subject that was about friends. When we say friends and vulnerability and those kind of things, it is when you are comfortable to ask for help. And if somebody asks for help from you, you offer it without thinking too much about it. Because that gives you an opportunity. I should say this. Years ago it was, again, in this running group, of course a big running group, just to be clear. And one of the friends, and as a matter of fact, he suffers from depression, I know that. And we were running 1 kilometer as fast as we can, and we were running almost the same pace. So, but I don't have a Garmin. So at the end of the 1K, that we would stop and we would finish very close to each other, maybe 1-2 seconds off. And then he would check his Garmin, and I didn't have one. So I would ask him, what was our time? Then I did at the first K, and then after the second K. And in all honesty, my sort of that at that point, it didn't matter to me as much. It was good to know, but I couldn't care less, to be honest. But one of the main reasons I did, because I wanted to, we will talk about other stuff after, that during that rest time, because I had 1 or 2 minutes rest in between. And he checks his own time. The only thing that he has to do, tell me the time. And then on the third 1K that I asked, he said, Mo, you should buy your own Garmin. And in all honesty, the thing that was going into my head, that I want to give you a chance to help me. And you feel good, and we have a conversation. It is a kind of a help that, what, hey, it's important to you, I'm going to give you that. Okay, this was our, time.
That was your gut reaction?
It was really genuinely, it was what I was thinking, because I wanted to have a conversation with him, that the conversation is a bit meaningful. I don't know meaningful, but something that is of value. We are talking, and he checks his time. The only thing that he has to say, and by the way, for the people that they run, it was around 3 minutes and 50 seconds, so it was not that bad for the 1K. Just to impress the runners.
The kind of thing that the first, when you're telling that, and you're saying that when he says, hey, you should get your own, the first thing that went through my mind was almost like not offensive, but kind of like, oh, like, yeah, I guess I should get my own, but like for this little bit, like what's the big deal? I would be more like, I can't even put the words to it. I don't really know what it would be, just kind of like offended that the guy's being a dick.
I didn't find it offensive.
It wouldn't be, my gut reaction wouldn't be like, hey, I'm giving you the opportunity to help me.
As a matter of fact, this is what I was thinking, that I made a mistake because I brought up with a friend and she said, you should have taken it further. And I realized she was right.
Further, what do you mean?
Further. For example, I could have said, hey, buddy, or at the time or afterwards, you know what, the reason I was asking, I was hoping that, for example, we have a conversation because we are talking in the middle.
Yeah.
But that it gives you a chance to really help me out. Yes, I can go buy a garment, but anyway, if I had brought up the conversation with him, maybe it would have clarified, my point of view, regardless of he would buy into it or not, that I'm trying to give you a chance to help me so that even you feel better. But I didn't do that, so it was a flaw on my end. I could have done it that way.
Wasn't the more the thing is that the time really doesn't matter to you? It's just that's why you don't have one, and he had one, so you just thought you'd ask. And
that is correct. Again, as I said, I was doing this in order to make him feel better, to help. Remember, you help somebody, you feel better.
I guess. Yeah,
it's a small thing.
Sorry, not that. I guess, like, I understand that. But in the context of your story, like, was that what you thought of afterwards, or at the time were you thinking?
At the time, honestly, I was asking primarily because I wanted to give him an opportunity, because I wanted to get close with him. That was another thing.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And then it gives us a bit of a, it's not just a surface talk. Oh, how is the weather? Oh, nice weather.
Yeah, you wanted to start more of a conversation.
That's correct.
Okay.
But he shut it down. So these behaviors are the one that they don't let you feel better. That is exactly what I'm saying. There are these small things that they make all the difference. That if you take the opportunity, and now of course some people, they can come and say that, oh, there are some people that they take advantage of you and they ask for help. You know what? I understand that. Again, I'm talking in general. This is not taking advantage of each other. It is just a giving hand without losing. It's just a good thing. But he missed that. And I'm going back to this. To best of my knowledge, and they say that, depression and anxiety is more of a Western world and the rich countries, not as much in the poor countries. And I believe this is said too, one of the very main reason for it is because in the rich countries we can be independent. And that independence, maybe some of us, we enjoy the complete independence. But the bad part of that independence is that when we lose that codependence, that or we offer help or we ask for help, which these are the things that they deepen a relationship. And because of that, we don't have as much. And in the Western world, again, I'm generalizing, in the richer countries in general, because of that, especially in the new generation, they're so careful about, oh, can I ask this? Or how can I put it? The stars should be lined up well before I put the right words, that how I can ask this, that I don't come offensive, or I don't come, demanding, or I don't come across this way. Just say it. Say it. Don't worry about that. This is exactly where I'm going with this. That this is, we think so much about some stuff that's just amazing. So, for example, as I said, for this trip that you are going, I simply asked, hey, can I catch a ride with you? And myself, I hadn't done it. I should tell you that. Honestly, I wouldn't have done it. Till I started thinking about it. I said, God damn it, I'm giving a speech and I'm not practicing it. So I started going back to that. That, no, I'm going to ask. And they feel a lot more comfortable to ask for help. And hopefully, I make people comfortable to come and ask for help from me. And again, I'm aware that you're not to get, take advantage of others, not as well not to be taken advantage of. But remember, again, in general, people are not doing that. Most of the time, we are not doing that.
Right.
There are few and far in between, but most of the time, we are careful. So my advice is this: just go ask. For the simple thing, just ask. And if you make that change, then it becomes easier that to ask for the second and the third thing, as well as if somebody asks you for help, don't look at it as a bad thing. Yeah. It's a good thing. It's your opportunity to help somebody and feel good. So if the view changes, the value system changes, then we will do it a lot better. So again, these are opportunities. So are you convinced? Are you going to trim my back? I had it trimmed just recently, so I'm good for now.
Now I kind of feel like I have to. But I understand what you're saying, though, about not wanting to. I don't want to ask for help a lot. I've struggled with that as well.
This
so
is
I get
exactly. I became like this. I became like this since I have come to Canada for the past. Because myself, I thought, oh my God. And sometimes I have been told that, well, you can do that on your own. Yes, I can, but I won't. And I want you to, if you need help, to ask me. Give me that opportunity. Give me that opportunity that I give you a hand in some stuff. And we talk about all these things, but it's all talks, and you don't take the action for vulnerability. It has become in a way that if you're not feeling good, you cannot talk to your friend. You have to call 1-800, I'm not feeling good. If you want to trim your back, don't ask your friend. Call 1-800, trim my back. There's a 1-800 for any damn thing. And I understand when it comes to the professional part of it, I understand. I'm very much into that ask somebody who knows if it's professional. But some of the things are not. Sometimes it's just you need somebody there. That's all you need. And be comfortable to ask. And a lots of time, as a matter of fact, is this, that we ourselves, we are the one that you are not initiating it. And the fault goes on us. Because sometimes when we talk about these things, very frequently you have people do that. As if you're not one of the people. Then who are you?
Yeah.
People.
That's funny. Yeah.
You know, we do this very commonly. As I said, guilty as charged person, I have done that. I was about to do that, but I'm changing it. And I'm really going to be more, probably I will do this more, that if I need help of a certain type, I would just ask very easily. If I'm not, I want somebody's, attention, I would just ask for it simply that, even I want you to, why didn't you invite me for that? Do you want me to do this? Invite me for supper, or I will bring my food, but you know what?
Muhammad wants free food, everybody.
Remember, I'm vegetarian by dark. Don't mess that up. But again, the moral of the story at the end is this. Be comfortable to ask for help, and be comfortable and make people comfortable to ask for help from you and offer it. Let's do that. It's okay. It makes life a lot better. You don't have to worry about your words, the timing, and lining up the stars before you want to say something. And is it going to come across right or wrong? Just don't worry. Just do the damn thing. Even if you screw up, that's how you learn. It's okay.
Okay.
It's okay. Let's just do that. Anyway, again, thanks for listening. As always, the best way to get a hold of us is by email at info@lifeworkshop.ca. And again, please check the website. You will get some of the highlights. I write them there, and the questions of any episode, I normally put it right in the form there, that in case you forget what was the question. And please go ahead, and the question for this episode is, go ask your friend that if they would trim your back if you're hairy, or would you trim their back if they're hairy? Or would you buy your own air compressor just to use it once in a year?
If you were a man, you'd have your own air compressor.
Look at that. Again, in a man. Here we go. Obviously, this didn't work. We should talk about this a bit more. Oh my God, you ruined it there.
Sorry,
no, that's awesome. I know you're just kidding. But you know what? Again, remember, life is simple. We make it complicated. Take care, guys. Bye. Bye-bye.